Welcome back to the Tigers Den podcast, guys. I'm your host, Big C. Before we get started, you already know what we got to do. Smash that thumbs up button and subscribe if you are brand new. And we are on the road to 1,000 fan members. Thank you guys so much for all the support. Make sure you guys keep sharing and liking all the videos. Our Tigers keep the streak alive. It was sloppy, but 35-13 was the final. Grambling was down at the end of the first, but took control in the second quarter. After a 4-touchdown performance last week, Phil Austin came back and had a disappointing showing this time around. 18 of 26 for 179 yards, 1 touchdown, and 3 interceptions. His inconsistency is a concern. If he would have played last week like he did against Georgia State, he would have definitely been a Heisman candidate. But we have to remember, he is only a sophomore. On the ground, Charlie Brooks had arguably his best game as a Tiger. 27 carries for 182 yards and 3 scores. It's kind of like Sir Tricks-a-Lot in the comments said, he doesn't do anything fancy. He follows his blocks and uses his vision and gets yards. Austin was able to rack up 70 yards on the ground, and Will Higgins was slowed this week with an injury, only gaining 38 yards. Out wide, DJ Clark had 5 grabs for 55 yards. Will Higgins had 4 grabs, and C. Tizzle had 4 grabs for 49 yards and a touchdown. On defense, Josh Carey is playing out of his mind. 13 tackles, a sack, and an interception. And to think, he's only a sophomore. He is the true leader of this G-Man defense. Jackson had 10 tackles, and the Tigers as a whole got 3 sacks on the day. We dive deeper into the stats. The G-Man's defense held Texas State to 4 of 11 on 3rd down and only allowed 1 field goal and 2 red zone trips. The Tigers have been extra stingy inside the red zone in the last few games. It's time to wrap up Week 8 and take a look at the first BCS standings. Bama still sits at number 1. Florida is 2nd. Vatech is 3rd. Your Grambling State Tigers are sitting 4th right now. Then a group of one-loss teams. You got Michigan, Florida State, USC, Texas, Stanford, and Auburn round out your top 10. Taking a look at your players of the week in the Sun Belt Conference, and congratulations to our super sophomores, Charlie Brooks and Josh Carey. Their performances helped move GSU to 7-0. To the recruiting trail we go. Not too many changes. We continue to battle Nevada for corner Rayshawn Baker. 3-star corner Brent Stovall is all the way in on the Tigers. The battle for Mike Collins is at a standstill. Mizzou is in the lead, but Grambling State is still fighting. Same could be said about 5-star athlete Sean Edwards. It's down to a 2-team race. Grambling State scrapping to catch up with Mizzou. The battle is heating up for 3-star athlete Will Davis. Marshall is holding on to a slight lead, but Grambling State is putting on the pressure. GSU is starting to pull away for Deanne Torian Ray. The 4-star Ohio native has the Tigers as his number 1 team by a decent lead. Our lead continues to grow for 3-star quarterback Chris King, and from reports in Chicago, King had a monster game last week, throwing for over 400 yards and 5 touchdowns. The biggest jump this week is for safety Chris Ferrara. The Tigers take the lead over Texas A&M. The battle is still on for athlete Chase McCarty. Auburn is starting to pull away, but the Tigers are scrapping. The lead is growing for safety Jason West. After talking with scouts, J-Dub would be moved to outside linebacker to help bolster the core. That's a wrap for recruiting this week. We are positioning ourselves to land a nice group of players in the next couple of weeks. Make sure you are following me on Twitter, IG, Facebook to stay up to date with what's going on in the Dynasty at Big C Got Game. Time to get ready for Week 9 and our matchup with the Monroe Warhawks. ULM comes in at 0-5 with losses to UNLV, Mizzou, New Mexico, Mississippi State, and New Mexico State. ULM is led by quarterback Caleb Evans. He's thrown for just over 1,200 yards and 7 touchdowns with 8 interceptions. But again, we're dealing with a run-first quarterback. Evans is leading rusher with 450 yards and 8 touchdowns. Keeping him contained is priority number 1. But we also have to keep an eye on speedy back Duke Carter IV. He has rushed for 293 yards on the ground this year. Out wide, receiver R.J. Turner leads the team in catches, yards, and touchdowns. And tight end Josh Peterson is a weapon for Evans. On defense, outside linebacker Matt Falk leads the team in tackles and sacks. This is a solid defense at all 3 levels. The key is to start fast and keep the pedal on the floor. And it looks like Kurt is rolling with the Tigers again on this one. Comments below. How many points do you think the Tigers can put up this week? We are averaging a nation best 45. Do you think we can keep that going this week? And before we get out of here, here's a look at our season stats. Phil has thrown for 1,631 yards, 17 touchdowns, but those 12 interceptions are concerning. On the ground, the Tigers could have 2 backs over 1,000 yards again. Brooks is already there with 1,039 yards and 13 scores. Will Higgins is on pace with 525 yards and 7 scores. Austin has also carried the rock for 300 yards and 2 scores. Out wide, freshman tight end Rob Bradford has become Austin's go-to. He leads the team in catches with 36 and yards with 370. Senior DJ Clark has been reliable all season, 24 grabs for 299 yards and 2 scores. I've been impressed with Chad Terrell. When he transferred in, we didn't know what we had, but now, just wow. 19 grabs for 320 yards and 8 touchdowns. Demetrius Gunn has taken a dip in his sophomore campaign with only 15 grabs for 264 yards and 1 score, but that happens when you have so many weapons on offense. On defense, it's been all about Josh Carey. 75 tackles, 5 sacks, and 25 tackles for loss. The sophomore converted linebacker plays all over the field and never comes off. The surprise of the year has been freshman DN Richard Maynard. He leads the team with 8 sacks. His brother on the other side, fellow freshman Marvin Goff, is beasting with 5 sacks. Josh Carey also has taken down the QB 5 times, and Big Cam Richardson has 4 sacks on the year. Redshirt freshman Jason Brown has 3. Carey leads the team in interceptions with 3, but both of our starting cornerbacks, Bennett and Nichols, have 2 apiece. Bridgewater, Hodges, and Paris each have 1 pick. On special teams, John Nichols is showing why he is the returner of the year. 22 returns for 779 yards and 2 scores, including a 101-yard return to the house. Last stat of the night, 7-0. Our Tigers look to extend their winning streak to 18 games. Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure you smash that thumbs up button and subscribe if you're brand new. And don't forget, hit those links down in my description. Follow your boy on Twitter, IG, and Facebook at Big C Cat Game. And we'll talk from Monroe, Louisiana. Have a great day, guys. 2 fingers in the air. Peace.